The First Book of Moses, Bereshith, Chapter 1, First Creation by Elohim. In the former time periods, as a powerful sign of working, chief son and heir Elohim filled with choice things, behold, as a sign Shemayim, the place of the names, and behold, as a sign Aratz, the chief place of running. But observe how Aratz was unorganized and empty, and Sheshach rose up from the deep waters, went up to its face, but the Ruach Elohim, as a wall of protection, moved violently upon the surface of the waters. Elohim then declared, light he will exist, and light he will exist. And Elohim gazed upon that beautiful light, and Elohim made distinctive the light from the darkness. And to the light Elohim called out the name Ya'um, and to the darkness he called out the name Leah Laha. This was the close and the dawn of the first age.
The Ketub Abarayas, or the Paleo-Hebrew, is a language over 5,000 years old. It chronicles a story branching forth from ancient time. His story, YAHAUSH'A. Walk into his story. Read the Paleo-Hebrew scriptures.
Shalom, everybody. My name is Noel. This is the Unexpected Cosmology, and I am here today with Pamela from the House of Glasgow, our senior translator of the Paleo-Hebrew scriptures. She is making it happen. This is the face of the woman who we all need to support and take care of, and just another encouragement for that. This is, of course, the third reading of Paleo-Joshua. So most likely, if you're watching this, you have watched the first two. That's just a friendly reminder. And I'm going to hand it over to you, Pamela, to do the line-for-line reading. Thank you once again for being here. I very much appreciate it, and I know the people listening do as well.
Thank you, Noel. Thank you. Now, those of you who have been with us before, this is our third reading, as he has said. And we're going to start at break 20. The cities of refuge. It'll be different page numbers. Whether you're on the ebook or on the physical book, it'll be different page numbers. But if you go to break 20, you'll be right where we are. All right, so we're going to start break 20, the cities of refuge. And YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living, spoke toward YAHAUSH'A, saying, set words in order toward the sons of Yasharal, saying, give for yourselves cities as the place of refuge, as I have spoken toward you in the hand of Mashahah. For the one fleeing there, the murderer who struck a Naphash in error without knowledge. And these shall exist to you for a city of refuge from the kinsman avenger of blood. And he shall escape toward one of those cities, and shall stand at the entrance of the gate of the city, and shall speak in the ears of the bearded ones of that city concerning his matter. And they shall collect him into the cities toward them, and shall give to him a place of refuge. And he shall turn aside to dwell with them. And this is because the kinsman avenger of blood shall pursue after him. And you shall not deliver the manslayer into his hand. For in a failure of knowledge he did strike his companion, and he did not have hatred for him before time. And he shall turn aside to dwell in that city until he has stood to the face of the assembly of judgment, or until the death of the great priest who shall exist in those days. Then afterwards the manslayer will turn back and shall go toward the city from where he has fled. And they did set set apart Kudash in Galilee, in Mount Nephthalia, and Shechem in Mount Ephraim, and Kiriath Araba, she is Harabaun in Mount Yehudah. From the region crossing over the Jordan at Yerikau, from the place of rising, they have given Bashar in the wilderness. From the tribe of Reuben, and Ramath in Golan, in Bashan, from the tribe of Manasseh. These cities have existed as the appointed place of meeting for all the sons of Yasharel, and for the stranger who sojourns in their midst, for escaping there all who strike against a nephesh in error, so that he does not die by the hand of the kinsman avenger of the blood, until he has stood to the face of the gathered assembly. Break 21. The cities of the Lauyam. Then the heads of the fathers of the Lauyam drew near toward Eleazar the priest, and toward YAHAUSHA'A, son of Nun, toward the heads of the fathers of the tribes of Yasharel. And they set words in order toward them in Shalah, in the land of Cunuan, saying, Yahweh, the ever-living, commanded through the hand of Mashaha to give to us cities to settle down to dwell in, and their open spaces for our beasts. And the sons of Yasharel gave to the Lauyam from their inheritance upon the mouth of Yahweh these cities and their open spaces. And the lot people came forth for the families of the Kohathuyah, and it existed for the sons of Aharon, the priest, of the Lauyam, out from the tribe of Yahudah, from the tribe of Shamaun, and from the tribe of Banu Yaman, by lot people, 3 and 10 cities. And for the sons of Kuhath, the ones who remained, from the families of the tribe of Ephraim, and from the tribe of Dan, and from the half tribe of Manasseh, by lot people were given 10 cities. And for the sons of Gershon, from the families of the tribe of Yashar, and from the tribe of Asher, and from the tribe of Nephthalia, and from the half tribe of Manasseh in Bashan, upon the lot people were given 3 and 10 cities. For the sons of Merariah, for their families, from the tribe of Reuben, and from the tribe of Gad, and from the tribe of Zabulon, were given 2 and 10 cities. And the sons of Yasharel gave unto the Lauyam these cities and their open spaces, just as Yahweh had commanded by the hand of Mashaha by lot people. And they gave from the tribe of the sons of Yehudah, and from the tribe of the sons of Shamaun, these cities which he called them by name. And these cities did exist for the sons of Aharon, from the families of the Kohathuyah, from the sons of Lauyah. For to them existed the first lot people, and to them he gave Kiriath Araba, the father of Anuk. She is Harabaun on Mount Yehudah, and her open spaces in a circuit round about her, and the field of the city and her enclosed villages he had given to Caleb, son of Yaphanuha, upon his possession. And for the sons of Aharon, the priest, he gave the city of refuge for the manslayer, Harabaun and her open spaces, and Labanuha and her open spaces, and Yathur and her open spaces, and Ashathuma and her open spaces, and Halan and her open spaces, and Debar and her open spaces, and Ayan and her open spaces, and Bayat Shamash and her open spaces, 9 cities from these tribes. From the tribe of Banu Yaman were given Gabaun and her open spaces, and Gaba and her open spaces, and Anuthun and her open spaces, 4 cities. And the cities of the sons of Aharon, the priest, numbered 3 and 10 cities and their open spaces. And these were given for the families of the sons of Kuhath, the Lauyam, the ones who remained from the sons of Kuhath. And their lot pebble for the cities was from the tribe of Apharayam. And he gave to them the city of refuge for the manslayer, Shakam and her open spaces on the mount of Apharayam, and Gaza and her open spaces, and Kubathusayam and her open spaces, and Bayat Harabaun and her open spaces, 4 cities. From the tribe of Dan were given Al-Thukua and her open spaces, and Gabathun and her open spaces, Al-Yalam and her open spaces, Gath Ramaun and her open spaces, 4 cities. And from this half tribe of Manusha were given Tuanunak and her open spaces, and Gath Ramaun and her open spaces, 2 cities. All the cities and their open spaces were 10 for the families of the sons of Kuhath, the ones who remained. And for the sons of Gershon were given from the city families of the Lauyam, were given from the half tribe of Manusha, the city of refuge for the manslayer, Gaulan in Bashan and her open spaces, and Bashathura and her open spaces, 2 cities. And from the tribe of YAHAUSHA'A were given Kushayaun and her open spaces, and Debarayas and her open spaces, Yaramauth and her open spaces, Ayan Ganuyan and her open spaces, and Abadan and her open spaces, Hala Kuyath and her open spaces, and Rahab and her open spaces, 4 cities. And from the tribe of Naphathulaya were given the city of refuge for the manslayer, Kudash and Galayal and her open spaces, and Kurathun and her open spaces, 3 cities. And the cities given to the Gerashanuya for their families are 3 and 10 cities and their open spaces. And for the families of the sons of Merariah, the Lauyam, the ones who remained, were given from the tribe of Zabaulan and Yakunuan and her open spaces, Kurathuha and her open spaces, Damanuha and her open spaces, Nahala and her open spaces, 4 cities. And from the tribe of Rauban was given Bathar and her open spaces, and Yahatzaha and her open spaces, Kudamaus and her open spaces, and Mayafa'at and her open spaces, 4 cities. And from the tribe of Gad were given a city of refuge for runner on the road, the manslayer, Ramath Galad, and Mahanuyam and her open spaces, Hazshabaun and her open spaces, Yaazar and her open spaces, all 4 cities. All these were the cities for the sons of Merariah for their families, for the ones remaining. From the families of the Lauyam, and their lot pebble existed as 2 and 10 cities. All the cities of the Lauyam in the midst of the holdings of the sons of Yasharel were 48 cities and their pastures. And YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living, gave to Yasharel all the land which he had sworn 7 oaths to give unto their fathers. And they took her as possession, and they settled down to dwell in her. And YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living, gave rest to them in a circuit round about, like all which he had sworn 7 unto their fathers. And no man stood to their faces from all their enemies. All their enemies did YAHAUSH'A give into their hands. No word fell from all the word set in order, from the good, excellent, pleasant matter which YAHAUSH'A had spoken toward the house of Yasharel. The whole did come. Break 22, portion 1. The tribes beyond the Yarden returned to their possession. At that time, YAHAUSH'A called out to the Ra'ubanuya, and to the Gadaya, and to the half-tribe of Nanusha. And he declared toward them, you, the ones guarding all which was commanded you by Mashaha, servant of YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living, in you who have heard, understood, and obeyed on my voice in all that I have commanded you. You have not abandoned your brothers these many days, as far as this day, but you have guarded the custody of the commandments of YAHAUSH'A, your Elohayah. And now YAHAUSH'A, your Elohayah, has given rest to your brothers, just as was spoken to them. And at this time, turn your face and walk for yourselves to your tents, toward the land of your possession, which Mashaha, the servant of YAHAUSH'A, has given to them in the region passing over the Yarden. Only be greatly watchful to fashion the command and the Torah which Mashaha, servant of YAHAUSH'A, did command you, to love YAHAUSH'A, your Elohayah, and to walk in his ways, and to guard his commandments, and to adhere unto him, and to serve him with all your heart and with all your nefesh. And YAHAUSH'A did barak them, and he sent them forth, and they did walk toward their tents. And to the half-tribe of the Manusha, Mashaha had given a possession in Bashan, and to his other half-tribe, YAHAUSH'A had given an inheritance in the region passing over the Yarden seaward. And in addition, when they were sent forth toward their tents, he did barak them. And he declared toward them, saying, with great wealth, turn back toward your tents, and with very much cattle, and with silver, and with gold, and with copper, and with iron, and with very much garments, a portion of the spoils of your enemies with your brothers. And the sons of Ra'uban, and the sons of God, and the half-tribe of the Manusha did turn back, and they did walk from the sons of Yasharel, from Shalah, toward the land of their possession, which we have seized in her, upon the mouth of YAHAUSH'A by the hand of Mashaha. Break 22, portion 2. The great altar for remembrance. They did go toward the Yalabuth territory of Canaan, and the sons of Ra'uban, and the sons of God, and the half-tribe of Manusha did build there an altar over against the Yarden, a great altar for viewing. And the sons of Yasharel did hear, saying, behold, the sons of Ra'uban and the sons of God and the half-tribe of Manusha have built an altar toward the front part of the land of Canaan, toward the territory of the Yarden, toward the crossing over of the sons of Yasharel. And the sons of Yasharel heard, and they called together all the assembly of the sons of Yasharel as Shalah, to ascend against them for warfare. And the sons of Yasharel sent forth toward the sons of Reuben, and toward the sons of Gad, and toward the half tribe of Manasseh, and toward the land of the Galad, Phanuhas, son of Eleazar the priest, and 10 lifted up ones went with him. One lifted up chief for the house of a father, for all the tribes of Yasharel. And each man of these was a head of the house of their fathers for the thousands of Yasharel. And they came toward the sons of Reuben, and toward the sons of Gad, and toward the half tribe of Manasseh, towards the land of Galad. And they did set words in order toward them, saying, in this manner speaks all the gathered assembly of YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living. What is this treachery which you have treacherously enacted against the Alahayah of Yasharel, to turn back this day from following after YAHAUSH'A in your building for yourselves an altar, that you might this day bitterly rebel against YAHAUSH'A? Was it too little for us, the depravity of Pharaoh, which we have not been purified on account of as far as this day? And the plague is in the gathered assembly of YAHAUSH'A. And you will turn back this day from following after YAHAUSH'A, and it will exist that you will bitterly rebel against YAHAUSH'A, and afterwards he will break forth in anger against all the gathered assembly of Yasharel. And surely if, conditionally, the land of your possession be defiled, then pass over for yourselves toward the land of the possession of YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living, where the Mashakhan dwelling place of YAHAUSH'A has settled down to dwell there, and take possession in our midst. Only against YAHAUSH'A and against us do not bitterly rebel. And do not you bitterly rebel in you building for yourself an altar apart from the altar of YAHAUSH'A, our Elohayah. Did not Achan ben Sarak sin a sin in the thing devoted to destruction? And upon all the gathered assembly of Yasharel there did exist a plague strike? But he was not the only man to breathe out his life in his iniquity. And the sons of Reuben and the sons of Gad and the half tribe of Manasseh did answer, and they set words in order toward the heads of the thousands of Yasharel. All of Elohayim is YAHAUSH'A. All of Elohayim is YAHAUSH'A. He will perceive, and Yasharel, he will acquire knowledge. If conditionally, this is a bitter rebellion. And if conditionally, this is a treachery against YAHAUSH'A, you will not preserve us this day. For building for ourselves an altar, for turning back from following YAHAUSH'A. If conditionally, for causing to ascend offerings and the tribute offerings, and if conditionally, for fashioning upon him sacrifices of shalom offerings. YAHAUSH'A, he will seek it out. And conditionally, if not from dread from this matter have we have fashioned this one, saying, if in future times your sons should declare, there lacks to you for you a portion in YAHAUSH'A, and your son shall cause our sons to cease the reverential fear of YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living. So we declared, let us fashion, we beseech you, for ourselves to build the altar, not for ascending offerings and not for sacrifice, but rather he will be a witness between us and between you and between the circuit of our generations after us, to serve the services of YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living, to his face, with our ascending offerings and our sacrifices and our shalom offerings, that in future times, when your sons do declare to our sons, there lacks to you a portion in YAHAUSH'A, then we will say that it has existed, should they toward us and toward the circuit of our generation to future time. And we will say, observe the manner of the building of the altar of YAHAUSH'A, which our fathers did fashion, not for ascending offerings and not for sacrifice, but he is a witness between us and between you. Far be it from us to bitterly rebel against YAHUSH'A and to turn back this day from following after YAHUSH'A, to build an altar for ascending offerings, for tribute offerings, and for sacrifice offerings, separate from the altar of YAHUSH'A or YAHUSH'A, which is to the face of his Masha'kan dwelling place. When Phanuhas, the priest, and the lifted up chiefs of the gathered assembly, and the heads of the thousands of Yasharel who were with him heard the speeches which the sons of Reuben and the sons of God and the sons of Manushah had spoken, it was pleasing in their eyes. And Phanuhas, the priest, declared toward the sons of Reuben and toward the sons of God and toward the sons of Manushah, today we have acquired knowledge that YAHUSH'A, the ever-living, is in our midst. Because you have not committed a treacherous act against YAHUSH'A at this time. You have snatched the sons of Yasharel from the hand of YAHUSH'A. And Phanuhas ban Alaazar and the lifted up chiefs turned back from the sons of Reuben and from the sons of God and from the land of the Galad toward the land of Canaan toward the sons of Yasharel. And they did bring back a report unto them. And the report was pleasing in the eyes of the sons of Yasharel. And the sons of Yasharel did Baruch Alahayam, and they did speak concerning ascending toward them to make warfare, to bring ruin upon the land, where the sons of Reuben and the sons of God had settled down to dwell in her. And the sons of Reuben and the sons of God did call out concerning the altar, he is a witness between us that YAHUSH'A is Ha-Alahayam. Break 23. YAHUSH'A calls unto all Yasharel. And it existed that the rest of YAHUSH'A, the ever-living, that the rest of YAHUSH'A, the ever-living, did come unto Yasharel from all their enemies in a circuit round about. And YAHUSH'A had grown old, with a bearded chin, coming into days. And YAHUSH'A called out unto all Yasharel for his bearded ones, and for his heads, and for his judges, and for his scribal magistrates. And he declared, I have grown old, and I have come into days. And you are the ones who have observed all which YAHUSH'A, your Alahayah, has fashioned into these nations from before your faces. For YAHUSH'A, your Alahayam, he does wage war for you. Observe, I have caused to fall to you the nations, these ones remaining as an inheritance for your tribes, from the coming out of the Yarden and the great sea, unto the coming in of Hashamash. And YAHUSH'A, your Alahayah, he shall thrust them out from your faces, and shall dispossess them from before your faces, just as YAHUSH'A, your Alahayah, has spoken unto you. And you have been very strong to guard and to fashion all the writing of the Sephar, of the Torah, of Mashahah, so that you do not turn aside from any part to the right side or to the left side, and that you do not come into these nations, these ones who remain with you, and you do not remember upon the name of their Alahayah, and you do not swear, and you do not serve them, and you do not bow yourself down to them, because conditionally upon YAHUSH'A, your Alahayah, you will adhere, just as you have fashioned as far as this day. And Yahweh, the Elohai, the ever-living, shall dispossess from your faces nations, great ones and strong ones. And as for you, no man shall stand before your faces as far as this day. One man from you he shall pursue 1,000. Because Yahweh, your Allahayah, he does fight against them for you, just as was spoken to you. And guard yourselves very much unto your nafashas to love Yahweh, your Allahayah. Because if conditionally in turning you do turn back and adhere upon the ones remnant of these nations, these ones who are left among you, and you give or receive a daughter in marriage with them, and they come in unto them, and you and them, then in knowing you shall acquire knowledge. For Yahweh will not increasingly continue to dispossess these nations from before your face. And they exist to you for a snare, and for a noose, and for a scourge upon your sides, and for thorns upon your eyes, until you have perished from over this excellent red earth, which Yahweh, your Elohayah, has given unto you. And behold, today I will walk the way of all the earth, and you will acquire knowledge in your heart, in all your hearts, and in all your nephash, because not one word will fall from all the excellent speeches which Yahweh, your Allahayah, has spoken over you. The whole will come to you. Therefore, there shall not fall one part from the word. And it shall exist that justice has come over you, all the good word which Yahweh, your Allahayah, has spoken toward you. In that same manner shall Yahweh cause to come over you all the evil, noxious, calamitous word, until he has destroyed you from over the good red earth which Yahweh, your Allahayah, has given to you. And in your passing over the barayath of Yahweh, your Allahayah, which he has commanded you, and you have walked after them, and you have served him, the Allahayam Acharayam, and you have bowed yourselves down to them. And the anger of Yahweh, the ever-living, shall be kindled over you, and you shall speedily perish from over the good land which was given you. Break 24. YAHAUSH'A's farewell address. And YAHAUSH'A gathered all the tribes of Yasharel at the place Shechem. And he called out for the bearded ones of Yasharel, and for his heads, and for his judges, and for his scribal magistrates. And they stood to the face of Ha'alahayam. And YAHAUSH'A declared toward all the people, in this manner declares Yahweh, the Allahayam of Yasharel. In the region crossing over the torrent, your fathers did settle down to dwell from ancient time. Thorach, the father of Abarayam, and Nakalur, and he served Allahayam Akarayam. And I took your father Abaraham, and I did walk with him in all the land of Cunuat. And I made great his seed, and I gave to him Yatzak. And I gave to Yatzak, Yaqub, and Ashau. And I gave to Ashau Mount Sayar to possess him, and Yaqub and his sons descended into Matzarayam. And I sent forth Mashahah and Aharon, and I did smite Matzarayam, just as I have fashioned in your midst. And afterwards I brought you forth. And I caused your fathers to go forth from Matzarayam, and you came to the place of the sea. And Matzarayam pursued after your fathers with military chariots and with war horses unto the South Sea. And they did cry out toward Yahweh, the ever-living. And he placed a fall, darkness, between you and between the Matzarayim, and the sea covered him. And your eyes observed what I fashioned in Matzarayim, and you settled down to dwell in the wilderness. And I brought you toward the land of the Amoriah, those who settled down to dwell in the region crossing over the Yarden. And they did wage war against you. And I gave them into your hands, and you seized their land as a possession. And I destroyed them from before your faces. And Balak, son of Zaphaur, Malak of Mauba'ab, rose up, and he fought against Yasharal. And he stretched out, and he called for Balaam, son of Baur, to curse you. But I did not desire to hear, understand, or respond to Balaam. And with tenderness he did barak you, and I did shelter you from his hand. And you have passed the Yarden, and you did come toward Yahau, and the Baalaya of Yahau of the Amoriah, and of the Haphatnuziah, and the Kanuaya, and the Hasayah, and the Geragashaya, and the Hauya, and the Yabausaya did wage war against you, and I gave them all into your hand. And I sent forth before your faces the hornet, and she drove them out from your faces, 2 kings of Amoriah, not by your sword and not by your bow. And I gave to you land which you did not labor in her, and cities which you did not build. And you did settle down to dwell in her, vineyard and olive groves which you did not set upright, and of them you did eat. And now reverently fear YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living, and serve him with uprightness and with truth, and depart from the Elohim which your fathers served in the region crossing over the torrent and in Matzarayim. But you have served YAHAUSH'A. And conditionally, if it be evil, noxious, calamitous in your eyes to serve YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living, then choose for yourself today whom you will serve. Conditionally, if the Elohim which your fathers served, which were in the region beyond the river, or if conditionally the Elohim of the Amoriah, in whose land you have settled down to dwell in. But I and my house, we shall serve YAHAUSH'A. And the people answered and said, far be it from us that we should forsake YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living, to serve Elohim Acharayim. Because YAHAUSH'A, Elohayanu, our everlasting Elohim, he is the one who caused us and our fathers to ascend from the land of Matzarayim, from the house of servitude, and who did fashion in our eyes the great signs, and who guarded us in all the way wherein we walked in her, and among all the people who we passed through in our midst. And YAHAUSH'A, the ever-living, did thrust out all the peoples and the Amoriah inhabiting the land from before our faces. We also will serve YAHAUSH'A, for he is our Elohim. And YAHUSH'A declared toward the people, you are not able to serve YAHAUSH'A, for Elohim is a Kudash one, and he is a jealous all, and he will not bear with your defection, rebellion, and with your iniquities. For if you forsake YAHAUSH'A, and you serve a strange foreign Elohim, then he will turn and do evil to you, and will finish you after that he has been good to you. And the people declared toward YAHUSH'A, no, for YAHAUSH'A we will serve. And YAHUSH'A declared toward the people, you are witnesses against yourself, For you have chosen for yourselves YAHUSH'A to serve him. And they declared, witnesses. And now at this time, turn aside from the strange, foreign Alahayah, which is in your midst, and incline your heart toward Yahweh, the Alahayah of Yasharal. And the people declared toward YAHUSH'A, we will serve Yahweh our Alahayah, and in his voice we will hear, understand, and obey. And YAHUSH'A, he cut a barayath with the people on that day. And he set in place a hak and a mashaphat in Shechem. And YAHUSH'A wrote these speeches in the Sephar of the Turath of Alahayam, and he took a great stone and he raised her up there between an oak which was by the Makudash of Yahweh. And YAHUSH'A declared toward all the people, behold, this stone, she will be a witness against us. For she has heard all the words of Yahweh which he spoke with us. And she has existed a witness against you, lest you fail your Alahayah. And YAHUSH'A sent forth the people, every man to his inheritance. And it existed after these speeches that YAHUSH'A, son of Nun, servant of Yahweh, the ever-living, died, a son of 110 years. And they did bury him in the territory of his inheritance, in Thumanuth Sarak, which is on Mount Ephraim, from the north of Mount Gaash. And Yasharal served Yahweh all the days of YAHUSH'A, and all the days of the bearded ones, who afterwards extended the days of YAHUSH'A, and who had acquired knowledge of all that was fashioned by Yahweh the ever-living, who labored for Yasharal. And the bones of Yosaph, which ascended with the sons of Yasharal from Matzrayim, were buried in Shechem, in the portion of a meadow which Yaqub had acquired from the sons of Hamor, the father of Shechem, with 100 counted out. And it existed for the sons of Yosaph for an inheritance. And Eliezer ben Aharon died, and they buried him in a town situated on a hill of Phayanuhas, which was given to him upon the mount of Ephraim. And thus ends the reading of the book of YAHUSH'A, son of Nun.
That was beautiful, Pamela. Thank you for doing that and giving your time. And going through that, I had, a few thoughts. One was that that was an incredibly, the whole Bible is a large project, but just that book alone was a behemoth task to translate all that. But I feel like it was I felt like today particularly, I didn't feel as much the first 2 weeks, but today I felt like it was a very special moment of hearing this read for the first time. And it reminded me of when the Jews come out of Babylonian captivity and they go back to Jerusalem and they hear the Torah read for the first time in their life. And, this was like a huge thing. And I just felt like, there was, a dozen of us here listening to this live. And there'll be so many more that come on afterwards. And it was just, a few of us in this moment in history that got to hear this book read out loud. So thank you for doing that very much. And do you have a few more minutes or do you have to go?
No, I don't have to go.
Okay.
But it is, what's incredible is just as it said in Deuteronomy, where it says that these words aren't just for that generation. The words of YAHAUSHA'A that he spoke, you can be part of it. The people who are listening today, you can be part of it. You can choose for yourself, just as they did. You can choose for yourself to follow after YAHAUSH'A and walk in his ways. It's not just these words, the words of the Torah is not just for that generation. It's also for us today. You can make that choice today. So I just want to.
Now, I'm wondering if at the very end of this, I think we had a little bit of a discussion in the first week, but as the translator, the senior translator here, and this was your baby. These are all your words that that lifted it went down to the notebook and then lifted off. Are there any unique? I didn't ask you this in advance, putting you on the spot here. Was there anything that you found really unique in there? Maybe surprising, some sort of insight?
One of the things, one thing that I may have mentioned this, but when they were at Yericho and it was shut up, and Yahushua met the man, it says the malach of Yahweh, whoever or whatever you determine that person to be, and he had a drawn out sword in his hand. That was significant for me, that the sword was already drawn out, and he was over against Jericho, which was, it's the city. It's literally the city of the moon, and it was probably circular in shape, and so he's already got his sword out, and he's already ready to do battle for them, and that was significant for me. Another thing that was significant was the horns of the Jubilee. It's not just, and they blew on the shofar and the walls came down. It was the horns of the Jubilee. And I'm like, was that a Jubilee year that they entered into the land? Were they calling forth all those Jubilees that they had missed? Where, according to the Torah, at the year of the Jubilee, people's land goes back to them. Like, say, for instance, they had property that they had lost through debt or something, or they sold it. It went back to them, and so they were below those shofars that they weren't just shofars. They were actually horns. They might have been like the silver trumpets, and these horns were blowing, and they were declaring something. They weren't just bringing the walls down, which they have just recently found that the walls fell outward. This is just a new archaeological thing that they just found just recently, where the walls fell outward. Didn't just crumble down; they fell outward, and so it wasn't just that they were using sound and vibration to weaken the walls. I believe that was part of it. But they were also declaring, we're coming back to what is ours, what's been promised to us. It doesn't matter that you've, built great tall cities here and that you're armed to the teeth. It belongs to us, and Yah did battle for them. I mean, he sent hornets and all kinds of things.
I was going to make quick commentary on Jericho and what you said that, they discovered. And when the walls came out, it actually made a natural ascending ladder or staircase, whatever you want to call it, where it just gave them passage to go up into the city and conquer it. And it's absolutely incredible. The ruins of Jericho. There are so many. It kind of saddens me that there's this kind of big push to ignore all these archaeological finds that are there, where the archaeologists are trying to disprove the Bible, and they're finding these things that are actually proving the Bible and the accounts over and over again. The one thing that drives me crazy, absolutely just crazy about Jericho, is that they they say, well, it can't have been the historical city because we found pottery in there that places it to a different century. And so what they do is like the way they do this is that if you have some pottery expert comes along and goes to some Mesopotamian city and says, well, this pottery from now on is going to be this century. So every time you find this pottery, now it dates to that century. And it's just like, oh my, it's like they do this with literature, with text too. This text right here is 3rd century, because we found another one that we determined to be 3rd century. Therefore, this must be as well. Anyways, yeah, that was great. Anything else?
Just to concur with what you're saying, their dating of texts and their dating of archaeological finds, I question it. Just their method of dating things is flawed. It's just flawed. And another thing that strikes me, I think you made mention of it some days ago. C.S. Lewis talked about chronological snobbery, and we think that our generation is the most learned, and that we're the most with it, and we've got the most knowledge. But we're actually finding out that we've lost so much in terms of knowledge and understanding of scripture, of text. And it's Rebecca and I, we've had this discussion where I feel like right now with the paleo, we're kind of like etymological archaeologists, where we're trying to get back and find out what was the original purpose of the words, and what was the original meaning, and what was the original intent of the writer. And sometimes we can't pay attention to the clamor of voices that try to tell us that this is the way, whereas we have to follow what Yah says, this is the way. Don't turn to the right or to the left. So it's an amazing book, and really, in my opinion, that it should be coupled with, because it says right here that what we just read, that he wrote it into the Torah, that Joshua added it to the Torah, that it was part of the Torah. So it's like I said, it's an amazing book.
That kind of went. I guess I must have totally missed that when you read that. So yeah. So you're saying that, and it could have been Phinehas who wrote this, right? I mean, he seems to crop up.
Actually, I think it was Phineas or Phineas, or however you want to pronounce his name. Yes, I believe that he was probably the author, because number one, when we had the incident with the altar, guess who they sent? They sent Phineas. Or Phinehas, however you want to pronounce his name.
Well, it seems like a very appropriate end to like, if this were the 6th book of the Torah, it seems like a very appropriate end, because they even give the same. YAHAUSH'A says it's the same types of things he says at Deuteronomy, like if you turn from this is going to happen from you. I actually really appreciated that he gives them an out. He's like, look, if you want to go serve the gods from the other side of the river over there from Babylon, or if you want to serve the gods here, you can do that. I'm just telling you, this is what's going to happen to you if you do. But he gives them that opportunity to step away.
Yeah, and it was actually a kindness. It was actually a kindness to them, because if you take the covenant and then you break it, it's worse for you than if you never took it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The consequence will be worse than if you make the covenant, you become part of the covenant, and then you abandon it. Or as it's the word for breaking the covenant is actually you trample it underfoot. You're actually trampling it underfoot. You're stepping on it. it's to show how much contempt that you've had for it, to trample it underfoot. So,
all right. Well, I think we'll end there. So thank you once again for
thank you
reading
for
this book. And we're gonna. I think we're gonna any future book you come out with, we're just going to have you read through it, so people can see that. Next week, everyone, I plan to do something similar with another book, and I'm going to just do a line for line read. So yeah, have a good day, everybody. Good night or good morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are in the world.
Thank you all.